Then I stopped.
Cheers to episode 34.
Cheers to episode 34.
Cheers.
Episode 34.
3-4.
Water.
Nothing. I have nothing.
August
17.
Evan, I think there's some crickets going on in your background that were distracting me.
What do you want him to do?
What
Beat the
do you do
crickets? That's ours.
It's Evan's.
Mute yourself for a second. Let me see.
No, it's 100% mine. If the windows are open, what do you want me to...
No, it's too quiet.
No, he muted himself.
He told me to mute myself to see whose it was.
It's you, confirmed.
What do you want me to do? Like,
Ask producer Grant. I don't know.
Just closing the window make it too hot in the room.
I mean, I could try. Give me a second.
I don't want him to be sweaty.
Crazy the crickets weren't there during
They
Frank's
weren't.
interview.
You hear him now, though.
Oh, I do hear them. Maybe they were there. I just didn't
They
notice.
weren't. Maybe we were so nervous. From that window, you think? I guess so.
I was thinking like on top of your laptop.
It felt like they were right there, didn't it?
I don't hear them. I don't hear them.
Oh, and that one.
It's going balls.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna be so sweaty.
They're gone.
Evan,
I
I feel
don't hear
terrible.
him.
I don't hear him though.
No, it's okay. Can you hear the fan going?
No. I can hear
Usually
whatever,
don't have it on.
whatever shit Alex is playing. I can
You
hear.
know what? We'll grind through this.
All right. Yeah, we'll speed round. Okay, I'm gonna restart from the top.
I'll do the cheers this time.
Cheers to
Show number
episode
34.
34.
Cheers.
Cheers.
No drink for me.
Water.
Water. Gotta hydrate for this weekend, boys, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Can't-
we do.
Can't relate.
Today is August 17th. It is 7:26 p.m. and I'm ready to run through a brick wall after talking to Frank Garza for 30 minutes.
Agreed. Fantastic interview.
You put
speaks
energy
with
into
pride.
your soul, and I think it's much needed.
Yeah. I think energy and soul are great words to describe that interview.
Yeah.
And toughness and grit.
Gritty. Pride. Restore.
Humbled.
Grateful.
Yep. Thankful.
Good stuff. I have a question.
Yeah.
We have before I lose it. Do you think you should say the year when you give the date of our shows?
Are you assuming this podcast is going to make it to 2022?
I do. I think. it
All right. Yeah, I mean, I can. It's August 17th, 2021.
Thank you. Just in case, like 5 years from now, someone just sees our podcast. They're like, I'm going to go all the way back, and I'd love to know what happened on August 17th, 2021.
We talked to Frank Garza.
Yeah.
And normally I would be like, don't skip ahead. But if you like, I wouldn't blame you if you're so eager to go listen to that. Just skip ahead and come back to this because it was awesome. And it might get you in the right frame of mind for the rest of this episode.
You'll want to suit up for sure.
What do you mean? Like put on fancy clothes, or you mean like play basketball?
Suit up in a basketball uniform.
Oh,
What else would I
I knew that. I was just trying to be that guy.
You were just trying to make me look bad.
You're not that guy, pal.
Thank you.
How was everyone's week? Which is a big question, a loaded question, because it's been 2 weeks since we've convened. Because although, again, behind the curtain, we did release a podcast that was, as they say, one in the chamber that we had ready to go for a rainy day. So you don't have to go think back to the 2 weeks, but you can
I'm
if you
not
want.
going to.
What's new? What's on your mind?
Last week, I'm trying to think what happened, but I think the main reason I can't remember anything is because the power went out, I think, Wednesday?
Wednesday night, almost Thursday morning, nasty little storm.
And then after that, it was just like, well,
a blur.
yeah. Thursday, I just sat here and did nothing. I mean, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't be on my phone too much because it would have died.
What
No-
did
no
you do?
TV.
I never
I
even
just-
asked you because I went back home.
Went to the
I had an eye
gym.
appointment.
I got Taco Bell because, can't cook anything.
Planet Fitness and Taco Bell's power were on.
Yeah.
What a world.
And then I came back here. I ate Taco Bell by myself at the kitchen table. And I just kind of sat around. And I went to bed at like 9 o'clock.
You go to the bathroom that night?
Did I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Taco Bell. I mean,
No, not like that.
oh.
Just like went pee,
Oh, don't get too graphic, bro. Ew.
And then this weekend I went to a wedding on Saturday.
Nice.
It was, I don't know. My takeaway from weddings is that they're slightly overrated.
Wow.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yikes.
And, it was good.
You want to save the golf update for when Evans or
I can talk about my golf.
I prefer you wait. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Got out of the car.
Where are you guys at with that league?
Both of us are not winning. Final week is next week.
Final week.
Hopefully we're playing each other.
Feels like you guys started that
Evans
league
season.
like a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a long
It's a journey.
So basically, I got out of the car. Usually I get to sit down, relax, talk to my friends, Evan, before the round. But for some reason, my partner, a.k.a. father, Garrett, decided he wanted to just go right onto the course and play immediately. Like, I just got out of the car, got in the cart, went to play a par 3.
As a warm-up?
No, real. Just went for it. No, nothing. And I wasn't happy about it. Didn't let it get to me on the first hole, made par, and then I hit a terrible tee shot on the next hole, which is also a par 3. And then I just mentally imploded. I got super angry, and I just didn't talk to him for those 2 holes, because then after we finished those 3 holes, because we started on 7, we then had to wait another half hour before we could start again. So I basically had to do the whole process twice, which led to a pretty bad round.
40s?
Oh, yeah.
High 40s?
No. But
50?
No, not high 40s. mid to low. But either way, it wasn't a good round. Finished with a birdie, though, and I'm leading the birdie race. That's all that matters.
Is it all? Okay.
Well, when you can't win the league, I would want to win something. So most birdies is something. I think you get something for it.
All right. My last 2 weeks were weddings both weekends. I think I'm done with the weddings for the summer. I think I steered clear of that. There shouldn't be any in the fall, because if you have fall weddings, you're a psychopath. There's college football on to be
I think
watched.
I have a few to go to in the fall.
Yikes. Well, if I know those people personally, I might walk back my psycho comment, but like I do firmly believe like that's just aggressive.
I don't know the people, so I don't think you do.
Well, that's good. Psychos. College football needs to be watched on Saturdays in the fall. And then had an eye appointment, found out my left eye's gotten worse and my right eye's gotten worse. So we're up to 475 contacts in both eyes, boys.
Nice.
So we are pretty blind.
You're just below me. I'm worse still.
Oh, one up my eye damage, I guess.
Both equally bad.
And then the power. I spent last night cleaning out a pretty disgusting fridge. There was some weird combination of blueberry juice and deer meat juice in our freezer that I was kind of scrubbing out. And then there was some stinky salmon. So threw that away. Power outages aren't fun. I don't ever want to deal with it again.
Where did the salmon come from?
Oh, one of like the trifecta meals with salmon. Stanky.
Not free advertising.
And now there's like standing water in one jar of our fridge because
Put ice in there.
We put ice in it to try to save it because we thought maybe it will only last a day. The power outage lasted 4 to 5 days, and you cannot pull that drawer out because of terrible engineering within our kitchen.
Can't open the
Whereas
fridge door.
the door doesn't go far enough because it runs into the sink, and therefore that drawer is permanently stuck in the bottom right corner with water that we're going to have to scoop out one day.
Terrible design.
First world problems. Could be worse, not complaining. We just talked to Frank Garza. It's awesome. Evan, your week.
Brighten it up. Make it better.
My week, let's see. I don't remember what I did last weekend.
Weekend before
Those
last?
are usually the best weekends.
Yeah, not like a couple days ago. I'm talking about like 9 days.
So
9 days ago.
you had like that legendary kind of weird Taco Bell Tesla experience, and then the week after that would be what you're trying to remember.
What wedding were you at off topic last weekend? What was I doing?
Alex, we went to Eagle Eye.
You guys did a golf trip.
We played golf.
That's right on brand.
Dude,
Can't believe I forgot that.
I forgot we went.
I mean, I did too. Super nice course. Highly recommend.
Yeah. I mean, you have to
Yeah, I mean,
spend a little bit of money, but
bring your wallet, but yeah, pretty nice.
bring your wallet is for sure.
Or your
Kids,
bank.
I played Eagle Eye last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, however you want to word it.
Mm-hmm.
I house sat
Again,
for Greg again.
shout out Greg.
And then this past week or 2 weeks ago, I had baseball tryouts.
This is a time machine.
Not
right
my
now.
team, but I was like helping run it. Try to pick rosters.
Cut little kids.
Huh?
You have to cut little kids.
I didn't have to personally do it. I had to like watch it like unfold. You know, I mean, it's difficult decisions, man.
Never easy.
Nope, it's not. Phone calls are the worst. This past weekend,
Saw you on Friday.
played golf Friday night. Played golf Saturday.
You guys did some
Went
glow
to
in the dark
Moss
thing,
Friday
right?
night.
I did. I went to the local watering hole with Evan on Friday.
Yep. Friday night.
America.
Yeah. I woke up Saturday on like 4 hours of sleep because I had to work in the morning.
Wonderful.
A little hungover.
You didn't seem too bad.
Yeah. I wasn't. I just woke up with a massive headache, and I think it was like 4 hours of sleep, and I just rough work day. And then league yesterday. I would just say that we took points, and that's all that matters because
We also took
my
points.
score
Forgot that.
and my partner's score, Drew's score, we were bad. I mean, I don't think I hit like a couple good shots in a row.
Do you want to talk
I don't
about
think I did.
Drew's hole one? You want to shout him out for hole one?
Was it bad?
I mean, sure.
12 good?
You guys just didn't like that. It's 12 good.
He was talking about it. 3 out of bounds.
Not on the most popular
5.
podcast in Michigan.
So we have like strict rules on league, thanks to my dad and Garrett.
Well, and it's just, normal, actual golf rules.
True, but some people, kind of.
Cheap.
Okay, so if you hit one out of bounds on one, you have to re-tee because it's white stake. So Drew hit one out of bounds, he has to re-tee. His second shot, so he's hitting 3, hits that one out of bounds, so he has to re-tee again.
Hitting 5.
He's hitting 5 out the tee box, clubs down, puts one into the fairway.
Perfect.
So he is lane 5, hitting 6 in the fairway.
250 out, probably.
Hits that one out of bounds.
6,000. So he's hitting 8 from the same spot.
Yeah, and he took a 12 on the hole. We lost the first hole.
Well, I would have.
If you remove those out of bounds shots, he probably would have birdied that thing.
Here's the thing.
Thanks,
the guy
Captain
that
Obvious,
Drew
but he
was
hit some
matched
good
up
shots.
against, he did the same exact thing as Drew. Piped his first drive out of bounds, re-tee. Piped his second drive out of bounds, re-tee. A little bit off the fairway, so his next shot in the fairway, piped that one out of bounds. He beat Drew by 1. He got an 11, and he won the hole.
Wow.
So you guys combined as a group on the first hole for something in the 30s, probably.
Me and Drew combined for 19. Yep, I had a duff shot and then a really bad putt.
What about them?
What's new? Yeah, then 11 and a 6, I think. Yeah, 6.
Hey, but you didn't bury the lead, you said.
So you guys
points.
shot even par on the
took
first
points.
hole as a group. Nice.
Yeah, Drew hit his handicap after the first hole. We did take points. We were adding up thinking that we would have lost. No, 16-14. Took points, baby.
Bang.
That's all that matters.
So next week.
Yep, and it's
Yeah,
smashes
it's
you up.
position week. Shout out my dad and Wally versus my brother Hunter and Gino. They will be in the championship match.
Wow.
Now, a third place team can always jump in if they take a ton of points and end up winning. It has happened.
And the championship match, they're off like, I think Gino and Hunter, I think they have like a point and a half lead on my dad and Wally. So it's a tight match. Wow. Anybody's game.
Ryan and Wally should be talked about. They blew it. They had a ginormous lead a few weeks ago, and all of a sudden, they have lost it with 1 week to go. I mean, we're talking 30-point lead.
Yeah.
But Hunter and Gino took like 27 out of 31 weeks. So, which never happens.
I'm excited for the update. I really am.
Hopefully the 5th and 6th.
I hope madness happens. I hope the third place team makes a push and it's like a 3-way, just kind of like check over your shoulder kind of match. So we'll see. Are you guys ready to talk about the team that Alex is wearing right now? The Lions.
Oh, yeah.
They played for the first time. We got to see Jared Goff in a Lions uniform on a football field playing for the first time. And that was kind of like my first observation. It's like, similar when we saw Cade play for the first time in a uniform. It's like, there's Jared Goff. That's what he looks like on the field. This segment will cover our observations kind of from them in the preseason. And then also dive into a little top 25 player list continued. So let's start with the preseason game. Hand up, admittedly, I did not watch the full thing live. I tried watching some highlights, but you can only gather so much when the backup's getting, because you really want to see the first quarter. You want to see how the starters look.
2 drives, really. 3 drives.
Yeah, if you're lucky. And then we lost the game. I don't think that matters.
No.
What did you guys take away from this game? Anything?
My first takeaway was seeing all the single-digit numbers on random defensive players and offensive players was really weird.
A little confusing.
Jamie Collins wearing that number makes
He's wearing 6, right?
8, 9, something like that.
Something low.
It looked weird.
Slimming.
I didn't like it. And then actual football stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to bash anyone here, but Vitae looked terrible, to no surprise.
See, so now educate me. Did he give up a sack?
The first drive, he got bullied on the first 2 plays, and then on the third down, I believe he gave up a sack.
Yeah, there was a sack on third down, I guess.
And he just did not look good. He just looked the same as last year. So that part of the line worries me. Other than that, no.
All right.
Goff looked pretty well. I know he said in the press conference afterwards he kind of just ran basic route trees. He didn't really audible at the line that much. I think Tyrell Williams is going to be our number 1 wide receiver on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Agree with that.
Amon-Ra is probably going to play in the slot and be the number 1 target with our slot. Hawkinson will still be infected, but
he didn't play, right?
Playing time's going to be limited.
No Hawkinson and no Perriman?
I don't think he played. Swift didn't play.
Swift didn't play, no.
Swift, yeah. And then defense, still a lot of holes. I know some starters didn't play. But your boy, what's his name?
Say his name. Say his name, Evan.
Yeah, he struggled.
Tavai and Vitae.
That's not my guy. Never mind.
Jeff Okuda is what you were on?
No.
I still question if we'll be able to stop the run a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's not too much to take away from the first preseason game. Second preseason game, probably a little bit more because the starters are going to play a little bit more.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
But my biggest takeaway, like Alex said, Vitae struggling is going to hurt
the whole
well because he's on that right side. And so if you put a rookie in that right tackle, I mean, most teams, they should just blitz that right side and make that guard, Vitae, make the option. So now Sewell's I just wrote down his Pro Football Focus grade from pass rate is probably going to be low this year because of all the blitzes come to that side.
I like that. Get out in front of it.
They're not going to blitz Frank, and they're probably not going to blitz Decker. So now you have to leave a tight end over on that side to help out with blocking, and it's not really Sewell's fault. It's the guard's fault. And then now it's one less pass catcher in the route tree. So they got to shore that up. Other than that, Dan Campbell looks so good on the sideline. The more and more clips I see Dan Campbell, I'm just all in. And if you go back and listen to our first podcast when we hired him, I was all out.
That's right. We thought he was we thought he was Dwight from The Office.
Yeah. I said I was out. But he just got something about him that you just draws you into him.
Those intangibles that Frank talks about.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler.
Sure, but I think it's more just Dan's just almost like one of us, just being he's the head coach of a football team. He's just an average dude.
Or that.
A leader of men.
Sure.
I like that because I think I said out loud, I don't know, probably my dad, I was like, it's just so refreshing to see Dan on the sidelines instead of Matt Patricia.
Why?
On a completely just superficial basic, having a head coach that's in shape and not looking disgusting. There is something to be said where I like the leaders of the organization to look like they take care of their own body. Steve Eiserman looks sharp. He knows how to dress. He's you can go across the board. Guys that look sharp, you just trust him more.
Bob Kraft
does have really nice dress shirts. Yes, he always looks well put together.
Bill Belichick.
Football's a little different with head coaches. They can kind of get away with it. You know what I'm...
Andy Reid?
I think you know what I'm saying, though. Andy Reid has his own swag. He's got that Hawaiian shirt swag. He can present himself.
Bad take.
What?
Well, I just named a bunch of examples without even thinking.
I'm saying Andy Reid has a look, though.
You said Matt Patricia looked disgusting, to quote you.
He did. Does he not? Did he not?
Does Andy Reid look beautiful?
He looks better, I think, than Patricia because he has that Hawaiian shirt, dad vibe. Patricia wore bed sheets and a pencil in his ear when he had laminated play sheets. He just didn't look like he
nice
knew
facial hair.
What he was. Did he?
He did not have nice facial hair. He trimmed it up for like when he got hired. He trimmed it up for like the first game, and after that, he just let it go. It was
like I remember when Patricia dressed up.
He didn't look professional on the side.
When Patricia dressed up for whatever's like press conference, he looked so uncomfortable and like I don't know. I didn't want to trash on Patricia's appearance. I'm more like I like seeing Dan. He looks like a football coach. He makes me feel more comfortable when I'm watching the game. Player wise. I did watch, like I keyed in on Sewell's first couple reps on like the YouTube highlights. I think on that third down play you talked about, Alex, he did kind of get blown back and like collapse. But then after that, he kind of held his own more, which I like to see, like adjusting to how strong these defensive linemen are going to be. The name that I kind of got eager at that I thought everyone was going to say is my guy, Julian Okwara, with a nice looking sack there later in the game. Now, maybe he's not going against the ones, but the way he came off that edge that fast, those intangibles, that's what I envisioned when I gave him the bump on the top 25 list to kind of crack that. Because he was like a third round pick, I believe, just has had a lot of injuries in the day. And I think
it's only his second year.
Right. And people forget about that. They've already written him off, and he's got brother there to overshadow him. But like, don't sleep on Julian Okwara. He looked good and made a play. And Amon St. Brown, like, just love seeing him on a football field, as I'm sure Evan could agree.
Had a catch, right?
I believe he did. Yeah, I think he snapped off a little out route that looked really crisp. Caught it. That's pretty much it for that.
And he returned kicks.
He's big on special teams. He's fighting for that as well, which I love. He's just ready to get after it. Other than that, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Did you guys see any more training camp stuff that caught your eye? I feel like the buzz starts to die down a little bit as the games actually start, because we don't need to look at training camp as much on it. We have games. Did you guys see anything from that?
The only thing I've seen is got a lot of injuries.
Yes, I did notice that. Deshaun Hand looked like he suffered from something. I'm worried about the groin. Groins are not fun injuries, and they usually lead to other leg injuries. So I really need Swift for my 1,000-yard rushing prediction to
backup QBs hurt.
I don't like our kicker situation. I'll be honest with that.
Kicker's not good, apparently.
I feel bad about our kicker situation. I don't know. That's pretty much it. The positives, like Hawkinson, everyone said he looks great.
He came in on the NFL Network Top 100. I was a little surprised.
Wow.
91, I think, or something like that.
And then there was an Inside the Den episode. I don't really remember a ton from it, to be honest with you. But there was some clips that, on Evan's point again, that like just make me like Dan Campbell more. I think just the way... Oh, no. Inside the Den. Duh. I was blown away. I loved how competitive our coaching staff is. I think we have like one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL, and they haven't like really proven much altogether. But like the way, like I almost thought they were the players. Like the way they were going after each other in practice and making it so competitive. Like I want to beat your unit. And I think like if you're a player, that has to be so contagious. Like maybe you're out there, you're like, oh, I'm making $10 million a year. Like whatever. This is a practice on Tuesday in Allen Park. I'd rather be out in, I don't know, some fancy Greek town restaurant in Detroit, like not here, anywhere but here on the lake. But then you have those coaches that care that much, wanting to beat each other. That has to rub off on you and make you want to practice harder.
I was jazzed up watching it. Great.
Deuce Staley. And awesome. Aaron Glenn is like the kind of like sneaky, like a little bit. He's shorter than most of the coaches. Like Deuce Staley's an intimidating guy, but Aaron Glenn's going after it too. I love that.
Yeah. No,
even Mark Brunell. I didn't see that from Mark Brunell kind of getting after it there too.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I like how it seems like even in practice, I feel like Goff is hands-on with Anthony Lynn and like making sure the practice plan is right, the script is right. They showed a little bit clip of like the backup QB was in and Goff was sitting right next to Lynn and they were just discussing, I think, the play. So you see that communication in the first year. You like to see it happening, and I believe it is. And I feel like Goff, I don't want to say he's going to, but it seems like Goff is going to have a big say in the offense and what's going to be run more than like expected. Just because he is like the quarterback that we brought in, and it's Anthony Lynn has experience, but he's like the new offensive coordinator. So I feel like those two have to agree if our offense wants to score points.
And also just
which it might not.
Right. And imagine like how good it has to feel. And I'm assuming some things. I'm just reading between tea leaves of reporters from around the NFL who basically said like Sean McVay was like a babysitter to Jared Goff, or like, hey, just get to the line early and I'll just signal into play and do all the reads for you in a sense. Like that's like kind of what people have assumed from it. Like it's gonna feel so good for Jared to be in Detroit now and have like that say with Anthony Lynn. And I think that's why, Evan, you see him so invested in like the practice plans and like how this is gonna look, because he's like, this is probably so fun. Like I'm actually like my voice is actually heard and I'm appreciated. Whereas he just came from a team that like publicly just didn't want anything to do with him anymore. Very publicly and very messy. So
very public.
So I think he's just probably grateful more than anything. And kind of speaking of Jared Goff, I'm a little curious here. Does he make, drum roll, does he make anyone's top 25 player list this week? 15 through 11 is this week. I wouldn't call you crazy if you didn't. I don't know. I don't know who wants to start. I'd like to not start because I kind of told you guys before I don't have my full list made. And I know I made fun of you guys for not having your full list made. Which there's pros and cons.
We made fun of us for having ours.
For having your full list made. I kind of wish I did, but also, Evan, well, I guess it doesn't matter. It would have happened no matter what. It's not related to having the list made. But looking back at the list now, pour one out for Don Molback. He got cut on his birthday. This league doesn't care about your emotions and feelings. It's a business. And he did make Evan's top 25 list, which I don't think you should have regrets about. That's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Kind of a surprise, I would say, right?
No, he's pretty old.
He's old, but like it's a long snapper. Like, was he messing up that bad?
It's probably expensive at this point.
Remember we drafted a long snapper once with Quinn?
It was like 2 years ago.
His first year drafting.
Bro, and it wasn't even like the last round.
It was 5th round pick.
That's a nightmare.
We had 15.
We are starting on 15.
Yeah, another side note, like I'm so jazzed up to get my St. Brown jersey. I went to the Lions official website for like to see what they had. They have so many players on here that don't deserve jerseys. I don't know what they're doing.
They get to
name them. Who?
Do you want to find out who has jerseys and they shouldn't have jerseys on here? Derek Barnes.
He's a rookie. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
The punter Fox.
Well, he was an All-Pro.
That's leading into something here soon.
Oh, shit.
Quintez Cephas.
You like him.
He could be nice.
Top 25 list.
He has a jersey. Galladay's still on here.
Good.
One of our backup offensive linemen, Nelson.
He's like,
huh?
Wait, what?
I don't even know.
There's a guy with it, number 67, Nelson.
Matt Nelson?
Ever heard of him?
Mm.
Exactly.
That's bananas.
Penasini.
No.
Tavai.
Yes, stud.
Shut up.
You can buy a Tavai jersey, but you can't buy
I wouldn't buy
one of the best rookies.
All right.
You can buy a Fells jersey. You can buy a Darren Fells jersey. You can buy a backup Tim Boyle jersey.
I'm going to give my list now.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you lost me at Tim Boyle. That is too many.
You can buy Vaitai.
I would love to see the sales numbers on those jerseys at the end of the year. You know, like how many, like Tim Boyle jerseys, like 2?
It's a very popular backup.
Vaitai jerseys.
False.
10?
Number 15 on my list.
Okay. Yep.
Is wide receiver Brashad Perriman.
Was his jersey on there, Evan?
No, it was not.
All right. I think I'm looking back. I had him at 17. Anything you'd like to say about him other than he won me a fantasy trophy 1 year?
I was going to say, won you a fantasy trophy. I'm still upset about that, but I hope he has a productive season. I think he'll be our deep ball guy. That's what he's kind of known for.
Father played in the league.
We're not deep at receiver. His dad played for the Lions, right?
I believe so.
Yes. Hometown favorite. We're a bad team. Someone has to be 15.
Evan, I'm going to kick it to you. I'm still scrambling.
Me, 15 for my list is Emmanuel Warrior, cornerback from Penn State.
I have him at 16. Nice.
He's lengthy. He's athletic. Yes. He plays more than Akuda did last year because he was kind of better than him.
He was healthy.
He was better than him, though.
He was purely just healthy.
Big 10 corners.
So I feel like he's going to have a big role with the new defensive system, new defensive backs coach. He's only going to get better because we're not going to be playing man-to-man nonstop.
Great pick, Adam.
Great
Thank
choice. You. I just want on the record.
Grant, who didn't make a list.
If I make some mistakes here, looking back, like I wouldn't love that this is held against me here. I have a lot. This is going to be defensive heavy. I'm just looking at my list, and they're all kind of the same tier for me, I would say. So don't be like, oh, if one's one spot ahead of a guy, like, oh, he's so much better. It's like, no, they're all.
Don't give all these disclaimers. Give your list with pride and passion.
I'm going to start 15 with Jamie Collins. I'm going to do that because
you guys all think he's. I haven't had him not even, like 25th? Then you already have
I haven't said his name yet.
No, I thought you had someone like that already earlier.
I thought you did.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Yes.
Dang it. Well, him being 15th was solely based on Evan's negativity towards him in the past that I've heard. So I felt like of the defensive guys I'm listing, that I'd put him there. But I kind of feel bad about it. I'm actually changing it.
I had Trey Flowers at 19 for me.
Oh, that was it.
That's who I have at 15 now, Trey Flowers.
Are you just making a list based on Evan's opinions?
No, on this pick, yes.
This is one of the softer things you've ever done.
No. I have all.
This is unbelievable.
Listen, I have all three of these.
You lost all credibility with this list.
Stop. I have all three.
I'm not even listening anymore.
I have all three of these players in the same bucket, and I knew Evan had talked poorly about one of them. And I was like, I am going to ride that for my 15th because I really don't see that much of a difference between these guys.
All right, my turn. 14.
And my hand was not off the chess piece yet. I'm allowed to change.
Snake, Alex. Snake.
No, we're not snaking.
We don't have to snake.
Oh, never mind then.
14.
Selfishly, because I want to think more.
With safety, Tracy Walker.
Trey Flowers only had 2 sacks last year, so now the stats also back that up.
But you also make your list based on what you think will happen.
Yep, and the most he's ever had is 7, which is I would take that.
Good, yeah.
But he hasn't been the same since leaving New England, as they say.
All right, Tracy Walker comes in at 4. Yeah, we have 14. 14 for me. Hard-hitting safety, loves to tackle.
The hardest hitting safety in the league.
Needs to get better at coverage, but I like what he brings to the table with everything else, and he's very athletic.
Is that his weak link, the coverage?
I would say so.
I'm genuinely asking.
I know he's good at tackling, and he would be like a Pro Bowler if he was good at coverage, I assume.
All right.
He had a down year in tackles last year, but COVID doesn't count.
Really? Save that for college football.
Still play the games.
Okay.
Evan, 14.
All right, 14. I have Jonah Jackson.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, Alex yelled.
Jonah Jackson.
14. I have Jonah Jackson.
Wow, high praise for Jonah.
Some might say it's a little too high for him, but
I
say, the Warriors' greatest strength is the Warrior standing next to him, and he's in between Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker, so it only makes him look better.
Wait, what was that quote? What was that quote you dropped in there about Warriors?
The Warriors' greatest strength is the Warrior standing next to him.
That's nice. I like that.
You've never
heard that before.
No wonder I'm so weak because I'm sitting next to Alex.
You live under a rock?
No, I think I may have heard it, but you just dropped it out of nowhere. Okay.
You're ruining this podcast.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So at left guard, he's a late round pick from Ohio State, and he played pretty well stepping in, starting for majority of the games. And I think he'll only get improved with the new scheme, new run scheme. And when you have DeAndre Swift behind you, it makes you look good. And then when you have Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow, like I said, next to you, pretty easy job.
Don't disagree. I had him at 17, I think.
So he's like in the opposite situation of Sewell in a way, next to Vitae over there.
He's with people that are good.
Oh, all right.
To you, Grant, 14.
To me.
You going to ask Evan what you should say?
Nope. I'm going to take a guy who I've seen play a few times here and there, and I just remember the name, and I remember him making some nice plays in the LA Rams. I'm going to go with Michael Brockers here at 14. Similar kind of position here on the defense as Mr. Flowers, where they're going to be getting to the quarterback as their main job. He had 5 sacks last year, which is a little bit high for him. He's more of like a kind of big body run stuffer, but can get to the quarterback. And I think he's going to have a bigger role here in Detroit. Now, some could say maybe the production will go down because you don't have an Aaron Donald taking all that attention away from him. But I think maybe his snaps will go up and he'll have more chances to get on the field. So I like Michael Brockers here at 14. How was that? Solid?
It's a good take. I have him a little
spoilers
better. Well, if I haven't said him yet, he's obviously in the top 25.
Well, back to you. Will he go now?
No. 13, I have potentially the most important player on the Lions.
Wait a second.
Especially when
At 13,
when your offense is so terrible, you got to win the field position battle.
Jared Goff?
Punter, Jack Fox.
Oh, okay.
All-pro punter. Better than Sam Martin, you could argue. Lions are known for just having great punters, and the guy deserves some respect. He deserves to be in the top 15 on this list, so he comes in for me at 13.
When you punt a lot, you have opportunity to
Absolutely.
beef up those punting stats.
Very important job when you punt and go 3 and out almost every drive.
I respect it.
Well, he'll get more practice this year than ever, so good for him.
Yep, that's why I said.
13 for me is Jamie Collins. Led the team in tackles last year, kind of forced into it. Somebody had to tackle somebody. He's a little slow for a middle linebacker. Be interesting what position he plays in the new 3-4 defense, kind of.
He covers okay.
But, I guess he covers okay. He's still too slow for my liking.
Where's the bad number now?
But, you're running out of guys at this time because there's not many left. So I have Jimmy Collins at 13.
This is so tough to make a list of good players on a just bad team. This is hard.
13, Jamal Williams.
Oh, bad. That's terrible.
He's going to be our backup running back, but backup can be used lightly because I do expect him to get some rub. Now, I'm going to caveat this with saying if Swift suffers some serious missed time with a groin injury, obviously Williams would be up higher on my list, obviously, because you get the workload, you get a boost. But I liked what I saw from him in the games I watched of Green Bay as a change of pace guy from Aaron Jones. And I also like his personality. I'm going to reward him for that a little bit here at 13 for us.
To 12. I have the Detroit Lions' number 1 wideout, Tyrell Williams, at 12.
Okay.
He's had productive seasons in the past. He has trouble staying healthy. So I'm projecting him to have a nice, healthy season and be the number 1 guy. So I think he will be pretty solid. And he's huge. He's a big dude. Make plays.
Very tall.
Yeah. Jared Goff has to throw to someone other than your guy, St. Brown.
Facts. Number 12, I have Jamal Williams.
Nice.
A lot like what Grant said, he's going to serve as a backup role, but he's going to have opportunities in, passing down situations, blitz pickup situations. I like overall his game, and he's turning into probably some of the Lions fans' favorite player just on how his personality is and how outgoing he is with those social media clips. Fantastic.
Fan favorite.
I'm going to take Penei Sewell at 12. Simply because similar to what Austin Gale said, I do think he might be like the most important, or could at the end of the year be the best, and in the long run will probably be the best. But I just get this feeling that maybe in the first couple games moving to right tackle, it's not going to look as pretty as we want, and he still may be overall grade very well for us. I just think our expectations are so high, so I'm tempering them a little bit in my own mind, and for people to have him just outside the top 10 with a rookie who I guess in a weird way though, with Penei, a great season would be if we really don't notice him that much, because as an offensive lineman, you almost don't want to be noticed. That means you're doing your job. You're not giving up sacks. As long as he does that, then obviously I would be wrong. He should be in the top 10, but I have this feeling where he'll make up a couple sacks or miss an assignment, and we'll be kind of worried about him. But I'm saying in the long run, I think he'll be very good for our team.
Don't disagree. Number 11, I have someone that has been mentioned by both of you, I think, today. Jamie Collins.
I did mention him.
You guys pretty much covered it. So
I didn't really say much about him.
He's a leading tackler. He does some things in coverage that are pretty solid. He's just a solid player. He's a pretty trustworthy guy. He's not going to make terrible mistakes. He did have one terrible personal foul last year. It was one super dumb penalty. But other than that, pretty reliable guy. I think he got kicked out in the first game actually last year, if I remember correctly.
That escalated quickly.
Now that I think about this, I think he got ejected in the first game on the first drive. But other than that, super reliable guy. Not going to do anything too flashy, but not going to hurt you. which gets you to be a top 11 player on the Lions.
High praise.
Number 11 for me, I have Jeffrey Okuda.
Wow, he's way too high.
Nice.
Oh my God, you haven't said
Is he though?
Didn't crack my top 10. I've adjusted these rankings kind of recently, but not too much.
You guys watched last year?
Yes. Did you see him pick off Kelly?
I did watch last year, and he struggled a lot. He also was his first 2 games was against DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams, 2 of the top wide receivers.
He also looked like
his
a
own
Hall
against
of
one of them.
Famer.
Yes,
Cardinals.
Devontae Adams cooked him, and he made him his lunch. Like as our good friend Cody would say, he was food.
Barbecue chicken.
Yeah,
I would love to see Alex line up against DeAndre Hopkins.
He's got the ball skills. He just needs to find the right system, find the right fit. I think he has an opportunity to do that. So, I mean, the potential's through the roof. Hopefully the pick isn't a bust. Otherwise, Bob Quinn, thank you a lot. So that's why he's at 11 and he's not higher.
I respect that. My 11th pick is going to be Tyrell Williams, who I think will be a great option for us, similar to what, Alex, you picked him, right?
I just did at 12.
Yeah, I mean, big body. You could see the chemistry with Goff in the preseason, which makes me think maybe I have him a little too low. But I also, like, he's had one, what you would call like a good season in the NFL, and the rest haven't lived up, and he suffered injuries. So I don't know. I like him, but I don't have this buzz, this top 10 buzz around him. But I could be wrong on it, and I hope I'm wrong on it.
Is there a buzz for a top 10 Lions player?
Yeah, I would say you cracked it. I mean, I'm looking at the 10 names I have left. Some are kind of surprising now that I've made it this far. And I'd say, like, you're a decent player. There's some all-pro guys. So
we have, like, 2 on the team.
So, I mean, yeah, top 10.
Jack Fox.
If you're top 10 on any NFL team, that's like what? That's like one of 320 guys. Quick math. Yeah. It's high praise. What are you looking? 32 times 10.
No, I was wondering. Not that.
Yeah, but our top 10 isn't as good as the other people's top 10.
I mean, that's
some teams' top 10.
That's not a perfect metric.
Top 10.
TBD.
Well, I mean,
TBD.
The Buccaneers probably would take. We might have 3 guys in their top 25.
Jack Fox, Frank Ragnow, and DeAndre Swift.
Yep, that's probably it.
Hawkinson better than
Hawkinson.
So 4 guys in the top 25.
Fine, but their whole wide receiver core is better than all of ours.
Oh,
wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's
their defense.
Monroe St. Brown.
Yep,
he makes it.
He's better than that.
Absolutely does not.
Than the Justin Watson guy. Give me a Monroe any day.
That guy doesn't make it on his own team in the top 25. Grant.
No, but you said they're receiving core.
Yeah, there's 3: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown.
Give me a Monroe over Antonio Brown at this age.
No.
Less headaches.
Oh.
I still got Tyler Johnson there. Roll the boat, baby. He's still good.
He's pretty good too, honestly.
Scotty Miller, go Falcons.
Potty Miller.
All right. Well, shout out to fantasy footballers for that. Stay tuned on Instagram for the graphics of those. You can kind of get in the debate like we just had in the comments. They seem to attract those because everyone has opinions when you see the list, so look out for that. We'll hop to the Pistons here. We won't stay too long because, again, you'll have the Frank Garza interview coming after we talk about the Summer League. So, yeah, because we had 2 weeks off, we never even talked. We haven't got the chance to discuss what we saw of Cade Cunningham, what we saw of the other rookies, the sophomore year guys of Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey. Didn't get to see Isaiah Stewart, which stung because I really like Isaiah Stewart, but he's nursing the ankle. Didn't get to see Livers. Saw a little bit of Balsa. Not a lot of Balsa.
You won't see any more of Balsa.
Didn't see.
Oh, you will not.
This is it.
Remember when I said 2 weeks ago that some guy on the Athletic said he was undraftable?
Yeah, John Hollander. You said.
And you're like, no, that guy just has bad opinions.
That guy does.
He was pretty spot on. He was one of the worst players I've ever seen in a Summer League game.
His first play, though, was sweet. But then he threw it away pretty bad a couple times. The one guy that didn't – I need someone to comment on our show and tell me where the John Petty kid from Alabama went. Like, he was on our Summer League roster. He didn't play at all. And I was actually excited to watch him play, but he never checked in.
I don't think he dressed.
So, for me, I mean, like Goff, seeing Cade in the Pistons uniform was awesome for the first time. I know they're not the exact Pistons uniforms. They're these kind of nice-looking Summer League uniforms, if I'm being honest. So that was great. And even before the game,
they're all right.
Cade's and the other guys like just pregame fits walking in with the drip. Like Cade had these like Detroit custom shirts with like skulls on them. Like it just, I don't know, got me jazzed. And then we played, and I think, I don't know, would you guys agree the first game, like I wasn't nervous, but it was like it wasn't like a crazy showing. Like because leading up to the first game, Jalen Green went off the game before, and then you have Cade come out, and Cade looked good, but he didn't drop 20, which is like everyone's like just like simple-minded NBA fans like, oh, 20 points, you're good. Like that's basically what they think, and he didn't do that. But I still thought like it was all right.
Well, I prefaced that game with that. They said Cade hadn't played 5-on-5 during the entire draft process. So, I mean, he was going to be a little rusty and didn't shoot the ball that well in the first game. But I think we saw that he's able to shoot after that. But the first game, if you're asking me specifically, only the first game, I thought he looked all right. A little nervous with him and Killian playing together. But after the whole summer league, no, Cade's a star. He's going to be awesome.
I agree.
Awesome. And way better shooter than I realized. I knew he was good. I didn't know he's 7 for 10 bomb threes. Good.
Shot over 40% in college. You know, if you're an Oklahoma State fan like I was, you would have known that, Alex.
You said I knew he was a good shooter. Pokes. I didn't know he was that good.
Go Pokes, baby. That's why I had him in a March Madness bracket. You didn't.
And that's why they didn't win. Yeah.
Semantics.
We got points for him for advancing 1 week.
Losing to a 12.
But the first game, Cade Cunningham did make his first 2 threes, which is good to see in national televised broadcast, prime time on ESPN, ESPN2.
Doris Burke, baby.
Terrific to see. And then like the second game against the Rockets, that was like a thing. Like I had to go watch that game because it was 1 versus 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, step aside. Like, I mean, this is a big time. I mean, summer league game, but it was just something to look forward to watching. Seeing Cade in the Pistons uniform, like you said, Grant, terrific to see because he is the best player in the draft.
Yeah,
and we're going to be mentioning it pretty soon. But Jalen Green versus Cade Cunningham, and Cade cooked him a couple times. And all the Pistons fans, I just don't want them to. The Pistons roster is better than the Rockets currently, and so I feel like Jalen Green's going to get a bunch of like garbage points because there's nobody else on this team throughout the year, where his stats might look better than Cade's and be like, oh, well, this guy's better. But no, he's not really that much better. He's not helping his team win. He's just scoring points where Cade's helping our team win.
Yeah. Yes. People need to know Cade wants to win more than he wants to be the guy who just scores 40 and loses every game. And I'd much rather have that guy that wants to win.
I've fully accepted that Jalen Green will win Rookie of the Year, and it'll irk me when it happens, but I'll just remember this conversation that, like, we have a guy that's going to contribute to winning more. I've said from the jump about Jalen Green that he could be like a Zach LaVine, Colin Sexton, like, bucket getter, but, like, those guys haven't won anything yet, and you need guys that are, like, team leaders, and that was one major takeaway from the Summer League is Cade at the age of 19 is a full-grown leader. Tease, you'll get that from Frank Garza. When Frank Garza was talking about how before he even spoke, when he walked in the room, he could tell this kid has a presence about him.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I know. Get ready for it in the interview. Insane. Like, and it just confirmed that you got that watching the way Cade was talking. Like, even just like talking to Sadiq Bey, which like Sadiq Bey is a very intimidating man, and I could see like a 19-year-old number 1 overall draft pick being a little like shy and not kind of directing him or giving him advice of where he should go on the floor. Cade was doing that in the summer league already. And then he adds to it with and again, it sucks that we always bring up Jalen Green, but they are like linked now with all the talk. But like Jalen Green was talking, you know, mad trash talk before the game, listening to like Detroit music on Instagram Live just to try to like be subliminal with it. And Cade doesn't say anything. And then he comes out but still performs because he knew like the talk, crosses him up, like flexing on him in transition when he made that layup. And then
the ball.
You can't forget Luka Garza had a sweet bucket in that game too. A little Dirk Nowitzki, one leg step
We
back.
could talk about Luka Garza during the segment, but that's pretty much covered soon.
Yeah.
So we don't need to do that.
I will say the one downside, the one thing that made me nervous was how bad our summer league team was when it was like full go. Like, because 3 or 4 of the guys are going to be on the main roster, and we ended up losing to the Rockets, which I thought was a joke. Like, there's still a lot of things that need to be worked out.
Defense.
And also, we're going to turn the ball over a lot. Because we have Cade and Killian, who are great passers, but great passers also think they can make passes sometimes that aren't there. So just prepare yourself mentally now, Pistons fans, that probably be close to league leader in turnovers, which just kind of comes with it.
With that also, we should have beat the Thunder. We had some catching pass issues. Couldn't catch passes.
Tyler Cook, say my name.
Wasn't going to.
Which was disappointing because he was good last year.
He had some, he couldn't catch the ball.
Played his way out of a job, I would say.
Unfortunately, it seemed like that. I don't think he really played the rest of the summer league.
No, which is sad because I liked him last year.
It is unfortunate. He's very athletic.
One other takeaway I had was like them teasing us with the teal coaches' uniforms on the sideline.
Great point.
The first game they come out here, and the second game they're coming out. All the coaches are wearing teal, but the players aren't. And I don't know if the NBA like messed up, or they're just teasing us, or they're just like, yeah, whatever. But I wouldn't be shocked if we debut them like a big primetime game or something. The Nets, Bucks, or Lakers come to town, and boom, we're wearing throwbacks.
They're coming for sure. I think it's like a foregone conclusion.
Tell the Vancouver Grizzlies, put them on notice that we're coming. You're not going to be the only teal team in the league anymore. I guess the Hornets, Charlotte has a little teal vibe too, right?
Sort of. I'm not great with colors.
Ah, true. I don't know I don't know if the listeners really know that.
That
probably do
need to be talked about.
Okay, I respect your wishes. I'm ready to go there. I'm ready to say the word you're not supposed to say, the H word. I hate Jalen Green. I do.
It's pretty strong.
I hate him. He's on the hate list, and he hasn't even played a regular season game.
Added.
Compared Detroit to a bubble.
Yeah. Where does this guy get off?
He's just upset, and he's like the high school drama. They're like, oh, you didn't take me first overall, so now I'm going to hate on you. Where was that energy like when you were about to get drafted? Of course, you're not going to say anything bad, but now that it's over and past, now you're going to bring this up. Like, if we're his ex, and he can't get over us. He can't get over the fact that we didn't want to take him.
Super big diva, just childish. I have no time for it. Don't care about it.
Well, we do. I do have time to talk about it.
Well, I'm glad we took Cade. Very glad.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think if Jalen Green came here, he would have asked to leave, I guess, because he didn't want to be in the city of Detroit, because all there is to do is go to practice and then go to your apartment. Nothing else.
Dude, I can't tell you how colossally bad the next 10 years of our franchise would be if we had drafted Jalen Green. Like, I don't see him getting along with anyone on our team. Like, Sadiq Bey and Jeremy Grant aren't going to stand for that. The ball hoggedness, that's not even a word that I just invented, but like, and then also he doubled down. I'm pulling up the tweet now. Is like, I guess Deion Sanders had said that, like, when he got drafted, he said, I was kind of scared. I thought Detroit was going to take me. I would have asked for so much money they'd have to put me on layaway. Like, but again, Deion Sanders, a bombastic personality back in the day. We weren't even probably like born yet. And then someone tweeted that to him with a picture of Jalen Green, and then he like did like an emoji, like, yeah, like that's basically what I'm saying. It's like, dude.
Well, I didn't see that. And the guy in that tweet said chess, not checkers. Like, Jalen Green planned not to be here.
And I saw these tweets floating around that made me laugh. And obviously, we're not condoning anything near that. If you do anything I'm about to say, you're a scumbag. But the fact that he's doing this after the Malice of the Palace just got released, what is this man thinking when he's going to step into LCA? It's going to be hostile.
I can't believe you went there.
As all get out. Did you not see that on Twitter? They were making me laugh.
After what I just watched that, like, last week.
Yeah, I did too. It was nice. But, like,
and it's a terrible look.
Read the room, Jalen Green. Like, I'm not the Detroit people are not represented by that full video, but, like, we're definitely up there with, like, Philly and other cities that are going to boo-bird you when we're relevant if you're going to talk the talk.
Ron Artest didn't help his cause.
Like, LA.
And a world peace, dude. Come on.
Like, you can talk crap to, like, the Clippers and the Lakers. Like, the LA fans aren't going to be up in your grill. We're going to be up in your grill. Us personally will be there up in your grill. Like, I shouldn't guarantee that, but I'd like to be up in Jalen Green's grill.
Some of the schedule came out today. I don't know if that game would be on there. I mean, it's 1-2 in the draft, but highly unlikely it's on there. But, when the schedule released, circle it. Hopefully it's a weekend night game and the boys will be
Hopefully the boys just go on a whatever day it is.
And we'll be respectful, but respectfully boo. Again, not condoning anything or encouraging anything, but the boo should be out in force when he comes to LCA.
We're going to that game.
And he also looks like, someone tweeted us to it, again, made me laugh. They just tweeted underneath replied underneath one of his things with Corbin Blue from High School Musical, because they look identical.
They look pretty similar.
Yeah. So what a joke of a player.
That wrap up.
Keep our city name out of your mouth. I'll close with that. Now, the only last thing I want to say is I hope we re-sign Hamidou Diallo, because we haven't yet. I'm starting to kind of like that SpongeBob gif where he's just sitting at the coffee table. Like, what are we doing?
I don't think we will, and I hate to break that to you, but I really don't.
Why?
I just think that if we were going to, it would have happened by now. I'm not sure Hammy's out there on the market demanding top dollar, and if he was going to get an offer that was worth his while, I think he would have already got it.
Would it make you more encouraged if he was hanging out with our whole team at Summer League? In the hotel, like he was with everyone at Summer League?
He might want to be here, but I don't know. Maybe
he definitely does.
If we don't anymore.
I hope we sign him and get rid of Jahlil Okafor. No, chop the Jahlil Okafor, but
chop the Jahlil Okafor for beating my Michigan State Spartans down in the Final Four.
Okay, you can chop him for that, I guess.
So,
fair.
But I hope he has a good life.
Any other Stones tidbits before we get to the last kind of things?
My only other thing is a hot take. I said after the first Summer League game, I overreacted and said the Pistons will not make the playoffs. Not the playing game. Won't make any of it.
Yeah, Alex is for sure out. He thinks there's no chance for playing.
I don't see it. Not enough depth.
I'm still on board. Some weird sounds coming out of this iPhone. All right, so joining us today for this week's episode, we have on a special guest. He is Frank Garza, father of Luka Garza, who is one of the newest Detroit Pistons on a 2-way contract just signed recently. So thank you, Frank, for joining us.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. I appreciate it, and thank you on the 2-way. Yeah, it's so happy that we're part of the family.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect kind of layup introduction there. Is what was yours and even Luka's reaction when you guys saw that news come through?
Well, we I think Luka went to press conference. Several folks came up to me and said, geez, for the player of the year, for 2 years in a row, right? Broke his own scoring record in one of probably the most challenging environments to play in. No fans, no social lives so much pressure playing. You guys know that from seeing it. There's so much pressure to perform at such an elite level in the Power 5 conferences. And you still have to go to school and then do that when you can't go mingle with students or go blow off steam or go hang out. You got to be in your room isolated. I mean, they were in rooms where if you wanted to leave your room, you had to be at school. Why? You had to verify that you didn't have contact with anybody else. So, I mean, in that environment to still perform. So folks came up to me and said, well, geez, why was he so grateful? Well, I'll tell you why, because just because you did in college, there was a big jump into the NBA. And we had to find a place, a home that's similar to Iowa, where a coach could see past his physical parts, his physical attributes, and see his heart. To see the intangible, even though it's not tangible. To see, even though everyone was saying, well, he's too slow for the Big Ten. He can't play defense. He's not quick enough. He'll never be able to play in the Big Ten. Or he'll come off the bench to being the number one player in college. That's intangibles. And so we're so grateful to get a foot in the door, because that's all we want. Foot in the door will do the rest. And, or I should say, he'll do the rest. And it's his career, it's his life, and he'll do it. As a dad, it's like my wife and I were content with the fact that at this age, if we didn't do it right then, there's nothing we can do now. Right, he's out of the house. So we're very comfortable with that. But I think Luka said it best. We're grateful for the opportunity. We're grateful to Troy Joe, the owner, to Coach Casey, to everyone on the staff, including the scouts, Speedy, and the rest of them, to be able to see what I know about my son, but others. I was mentioning this the other day. I got over 100 DMs when Luka was drafted, telling me how terrible my son is and what a terrible, colossal mistake it was to recruit him.
Wow.
It's not surprising.
And I'm okay with it. No, I'm okay with that because people just want what's best for their city. I'm totally into that. But give us the chance to prove you differently. Give us a chance to soften those petrified beliefs about basketball players. Because every once in a while, one will come along that doesn't have the physical gifts, but will be the last man standing. And Luka happens to be that guy.
Love it.
So great, Frank. You touched on it a little bit. Could you just overall your quick experience at Iowa, either yours and Luka's, or just yours, or just Luka's?
Yeah, well, I'll have Luka talk about his, but I mean, I can comment on him seeing it. But Iowa is our field of dreams, gentlemen. We went from early on in his career where you could barely walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, he would literally trip over the baseline, and that's painted, right?
I did that once.
And so it was one of those things where it was like, hey, look, it doesn't matter how we are as an eighth grader. What's going to matter is when we're a 10th grader in high school, 11th. So let's focus on where we want to go, not where we are. Because the adventure is where we're going to be, not where we are today. Today doesn't matter. So to have Fran McCaffrey early on in the process offer us, and even then I got DMs from people saying, oh, there's no way he's going to play in the Big Ten. It's impossible. I mean, same kind of thing, which happens when you have a kid that's not going to blow you away with physical gifts. And perhaps you're not used to seeing intangibles. Right? When you meet someone who has an abundance of tangibles, you feel it before you hear it. Before they speak, you just feel their presence because they're just full of that. And so to find a coach that saw that in Luka, and think about this, Fran McCaffrey got to see Luka before everyone else at that 2015 Nike Elite Camp where 100 of the best players went to go, and coaches aren't allowed. It's a quiet period. Unless your kid happens to be in the camp. Then you can go as a parent. So Fran got to see Luka early on, and after that camp, made the offer right away. He saw Luka's intangibles, but that's Fran's background. He finds those special players that have that uniqueness. He's been very gifted that way. He himself is that man and that player. So I was so fortunate to have a coach that saw my son. Because when you hand off your kid to college, and parents listening will understand this, is you're expecting them to take him into manhood. It takes a village to grow a man, gentlemen. You'll find that out when you become parents, if you're not already. No, I'm kidding. You guys are too young to be parents now. But so it was wonderful. It's our field of dreams. Our dreams came true there, which was a chance for Luka to have a coach that believed in him, and then with his work ethic and the kind of work we were doing, the intelligent practice, been a chance for him to blossom fully. And that's what Iowa was all about. Is Luka grew into his feet there, and under extremely difficult situations. At the beginning of his sophomore year, he almost didn't know we didn't even think he would play basketball again. He had a 10-plus pound cyst removed from his spleen at the beginning of the season. So it wasn't even he played basketball. That wasn't even the picture. The doctor said, Frank, you got a 5% chance he'll ever play anything again. You can't play basketball without a spleen.
Yeah.
And he had this 10-plus pound cyst on there, and you couldn't see what was below it. Was it tumorous? Was there something going on that caused that? We couldn't tell because there was all that fluid. So we went through all of that. And he even started that year, the first game, MVP of the tournament in Madison Square Garden, some 7 weeks later. So it's like incredible, miraculous things going on there in Iowa. For a small state, only 3 million people, there's some magic dust there. So it was a great experience, a great learning experience. We have friends there for life. Luka has friends that will be in his wedding, from that experience. And as a dad, my gosh, I don't think I could have designed it. I mean, they retired his jersey while he was still playing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that kind of sums it up.
That's
right?
a great.
I probably should have just started there and cut all that other stuff. But sorry for taking so long to get to that. But that kind of says it right there.
Absolutely.
Just following up with that, what was your favorite moment from when Luka was at Iowa? Just one specific moment.
Whoa. Well, there's several. There's several. In the basketball, realm was, I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way or anything, but, certainly the game at Michigan.
44
Chrysler,
points.
where he set the record.
Yeah.
Beating Michigan State at home, beating Izzo, that was a big one. But I would say some of the most enjoyable moments is when Luka would, go to the local children's hospital or the local elementary and read to the kids. And I'd get a text from a parent or the teacher just saying, "Hey, he didn't have to do this. We didn't ask him to do this. He did it on his own." And that, as a dad, just makes me, feel good about everything we taught him, my wife and I and our extended family, about giving back to receive. It's a giver's game. If you want to win, you got to give to win. You can't just take. If you take, you don't win as much. If you give, you win a factor of 10 greater. So those are some of the most, to me, those more than basketball, which was him as a man. What does he do with his free time? Is he just going to sit around and play Fortnite? Or is he going to say, "Hey, man, let me try and help someone else out"? Because I was that kid. I was that young, and so figuring that out as a young person, 19, 20 years old, well, I'm going to go to the local elementary school and read to the kids. Or I'm going to go to the children's hospital and just hang out with those kids, that some of which won't see the end of the year because they're just not going to make it. And so those as a dad, those would rank. I'll say another thing he did, just as an example of that, gentleman. We did an NFT for Luka at the end of his college career. I don't know if you knew that. You could go to OpenSea.io and look up his name. You could see we did 4 in total. But the first one we did, I didn't know if it was going to sell for anything. I just had a sense that it would be something very valuable to do for him. And while we were designing it, because you have to decide how much money is going to go here, what are you going to do here, and this is part of the nature of blockchain computing and in the NFT world. And so Lucas said, "Well, I want to give north of 20% of the net proceeds to the Children's Hospital." And gentlemen, at the time, he only had $28.33 in his account. Right, so poverty. He couldn't even pay for a meal. And yet he's thinking about, I don't know what it would sell for. Well, it sold for $41,000, right? And but prior to that, selling for that amount, he didn't wait for it to sell to then go, "Oh, now I want to give." He did it before, and that, as a dad, those are the things that I'm most proud of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that gives a great glimpse into just kind of Luka's overall character and personality, which is a big thing that the Pistons GM Troy Weaver talked about in identifying who they wanted to draft. And another glimpse that all the fans have gotten to see, Detroit fans already, about Luka's character is his work ethic. And I think you kind of touched on that at some points. You can talk about the physical attributes all you want, and he's even said himself, like, no one's going to outwork me. And that's kind of, again, like we said off the top, is that's kind of how we were introduced to you, is through these workout tweets. I kind of wanted to get some background on those because I hadn't seen any of them during his Iowa days, but that may have just been we're in Michigan, weren't following your account then. Have you been doing these workout tweets as long as back to Iowa days, or is this kind of a new kind of thing?
Well, I started in Iowa. I started heavy during the COVID period. I had been receiving messages from parents saying, "Geez, my kids are just, they don't know what to do. They can't go anywhere. They're going to do that. Can you think of something?" And I said, "Well, let's just start posting some of the workouts and providing some inspiration, if you will, some ideas of what you can do with your time. And we talked a lot about, one of the big things about Luka's game that you're going to learn more about is his inner game. He's been a deep meditator now. He speaks about it, but his inner game, and how to, we call it pranayama, the science of breath. I mean, Luka's lungs are 1.5 times on average of his opponent because we practice stretching our lungs through meditation and through pranayama exercises. We practice visual motor rehearsal, which is rehearsing the future before it comes, just like Armstrong did when he landed on the moon. He had a resting pulse in the 50s. Well, how do you do that? We've never been there before. Never have before. Well, if you go there in the mind, the body follows. That's how it works anyway. Anywhere you go in your mind first. Whether you like to acknowledge it or not, it happens. So we just took more management over that in practice of rehearsing the future. And so anyway, all the parents in this, we just started posting during the COVID period, and kids loved it. They were inspiring. They would show me pictures. Oh, I did the mic and drill. I did the Sigma thing, So it started with that, and then it just kept on. And, I wouldn't post one day, and people would say, oh, I missed my Luka post. So I just started doing it, And then, of course, when Luka was drafted, I got all this, uncomplimentary, messages about Luka. What a trash, terrible thing. And he only did well at Iowa because he passed him the ball and he shot more times. Who cares that he shot 55% from the field or 44% from three?
Right.
But no, it was, hey, he just got it more. And I try and meet everyone where they are. And so I figured, well, maybe let me just show what he's about. Because I know, I always have, been drawn to Detroit, even before the Bad Boys days, just the whole idea of Detroit, in the history of it, steel, auto, and just like the core of America and the economy was built there, in terms of just production, and that just means a lot, and so I always had that for him, and I was just so I had a sense that it would resonate, that people would see that, yeah, this kid it's earned, not given. He's had to earn it every step of the way. And I just had a feeling, I was hoping that it would resonate with folks, and just that you wouldn't have to accept him, but just would give him a chance to see beyond the fact that he has the slowest 3/4 sprint, or he doesn't have a high jump reach, or he's this. Well, let's look beyond that. Because even though he was the slowest guy in college, he was the first one back on defense every time in an offense. Beat every big man down the court. Beat Teskey down the court. Beat all the guys down the court. And even though they run faster, even though they're quicker, even though they jump higher, they don't sprint every time. That's a habit. But Luka does. And so, I was just hoping that would resonate with folks, because to me, that's what city of Detroit's all about. Is you get it through hard work. You don't get it through talking. Talk all you want, show me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tried to do.
So we touched on the draft process in Detroit a little bit so far. Can you kind of describe how that draft process went? And did you expect Luka to get drafted higher, later, or undrafted at all?
Great question, Evan. Well, before the draft, my hair was dark. Right? I had dark hair. So look at it now. It's like, so, there was a very real chance. And, I talked to Luka about it, as did his, our agents. He wouldn't be drafted. First time ever in the history of college basketball that the best player in the country goes undrafted. I thought the lowest was 33 prior to that. And we know we were going to go in the top, 40 probably. I was hoping we'd go in the 40s. It's just my dad. I didn't tell that to Luka, but I figured with what was there that maybe could happen, and of course that didn't. And toward the end there, it didn't look like we'd be drafted at all, And so, but having his name called, first time in our whole family history, was drafted low, the trough was whoa. Once we're getting in the 50s. Nothing against the other players. They're all Luka's plug and play. He can go right now and produce. So his ceiling may not be when he's 19, but I would still venture to say there's ability. He's going to be the first big to shoot over 50% from it. Well, why do I say that? I worked him out his whole freaking life. I taught him how to shoot. I'm confident in his ability to be able to do that. And so, and I may be wrong, but 44%, you saw his increases in three-point, even though the three-point line in college moved out to the FIBA line, and he still went up 10 points on his percentage from further out. And we've done nothing but increase that. I try to show some of my videos of him even shooting from the half circle, which is 40-plus feet, at a high accuracy, just to let anyone know he can do it at 30 with his eyes closed. And he can, by the way. That's not a misstatement. He can make it with his eyes closed. So practice, intelligent practice makes intelligent play. And the more you practice intelligently, the more intelligent you play. So Luka's going to do nothing but continue to do that. And so it was a night. I was glad when it was done. We turned up,
I can imagine, like, especially sitting, like you said, going from the 40s to the 50s, just hoping. And I mean, from all we talked about it on our podcast after that, we were all fans of the pick because, like you said, like no matter where you get him, you're getting the best player in college basketball the last season. I mean, and I think there was even a graphic that went around of centers specifically who were Wooden Award winners, and most of them had fantastic careers. So we were big fans of it.
Oh, yeah.
Big fans of it right away. And thought it was great value.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and a little bit off that, I mean, we've asked you, rightfully so, a bunch of questions about Luka. But I did notice from doing, and now this is from Wikipedia, so bear with me if it's wrong, but it appears that you also played some college basketball at Idaho. And naturally, yes. I was just curious, were there any similarities between your game and Luka's from the college level?
Well, if you ask anyone that saw me play, they say, well, Luka's doing it far better than me. I made sure of that. But our game is very similar. I mean, I was a great shooter. I still hold the record for the three-point percentage at Idaho. In fact, the Big Sky where I played was the first league that had the three-point line. Because if it didn't work out, gentlemen, no one would notice. Because it's in the Big Sky. I mean, they wouldn't care. What? Big Sky. But so our game is very similar. He's going to roll out a skyhook. I had a beautiful skyhook. And I still do. I can still make 10 in a row from 15 feet, both hands. So I'm a great shooter. Still today, I can pretty much – Luka's gotten better on the free throws and made sure of it. But in 2 years, I'm still better than him, and is the skyhook, although he's getting real close. And used to be free throw percentage. He's going to be an 85+%, 80+% now the rest of his career. And I would say he'd be in the 90s before long. So he's going to eclipse me there as well. But our games are very similar because, unfortunately, he got my physical gifts, which is I run the 40-yard dash in a day, and the seasons move faster than me on the basketball court. So, that's one of the reasons I could help develop him. So, because I knew how to get ahead I was the slowest guy out there, but the first one down because I started sooner. I anticipated the flow of the game. I had peripheral vision, so I didn't have to go like this or like this and swivel my head. No, I could see by looking straight ahead. So I could just kind of get better in the other areas of the game in order to succeed against vastly superior players. But a fun story, though, is the year before I got to Idaho, Idaho made it to the Sweet 16. And the team that they beat, which for a tiny little school to make it to Sweet 16, it probably never happened again in Moscow, Idaho. But the team they beat in overtime was University of Iowa.
Wow.
So what's the irony of that? Same school colors, the whole thing. But so that's. I was waiting for some reporter in Iowa to finally, you went to Idaho, that rings a bell. And no one did. They forgot about it until I reminded them about it. But anyway, so that's all that.
So my final question, switching gears here.
Sure.
So you watched the Summer League, I assume, obviously. What are your thoughts on Cade Cunningham and the young Pistons core, and maybe how you think Luka would fit in with them?
Great question, Alex. So what do I think about the number one pick, the other members of the core, everything. Well, as a dad, I couldn't think of a better place for Luka. From the moment we arrived, and I had some previous knowledge, about the organization just from our agents and their relationship with Troy back because he's from DC area. And I knew of his son when he played and this and that. So knew about the man. And so I was, the moment we get here, there's that ineffable quality. You can feel it, not touch it. But just this environment of character, integrity, getting a family, restore rather than rebuild. No, see, rebuild means you never had it. Restore means reclaim it because you already have it. I love that. I mean, I love that kind of difference in diction and the meaning is very powerful. And so, man, I tell you, I still remember, it was like Cade walked in the room, took the air out of it. I'm like, man, here's this kid who just exudes leadership. It was something I hadn't experienced in a long, long time like that. And I've met lots of folks in all different levels in terms of where they were in their careers and different occupations. And his ranks up there in one of the few encounters where you could tell before he opened his mouth, this kid's special. And what's he special about? Not just his physical gifts, but it's interesting about why Detroit took him as a first pick. It makes complete sense to me based upon touching and feeling it while I was there. From the owner, Troy, Casey, the staff, even the scouts like Speedy. Just this is a different group. They're doing something different here. This is something going on here. So they took Cade because not only is he a great athlete, a great player, he's a connector. He's a leader. He's a team guy. And even at 19, you see him on the court. He's leading the huddle. Right? He's doing those things that you can't teach. It's got to be part of you. It's got to be marrow deep in your belief as a player. Is I'm only going to succeed if I help you win. If I help you win, I win. And he's got that in abundance. And then, of course, you run into one of my favorite college players, and because they came in the same time Luka did, is Livers. I'm so excited of the fact that he gets to play with Livers. There's another connector. There's another guy that cares more about your success than his own. You know how unique that is for the number one and then 42 to not just sit there and be entitled. Now, I'm not saying anything against other players. I'm not saying that at all. But some players, it's like, hey, I went where? I should have been here. I get it. Superstars, super athletic, great. Yeah, just that's not our world. With that. And then, of course, Jeremy Grant, who we've worked out with the last several years in the DMV. And then Sadiq Bey, who was in our same high school league across the street. We went to Murray, he's over at Sidwell. And so it's like, you got Sadiq Bey, who's got another tremendous work ethic and a huge character guy, big time, as is Jeremy. I'll tell you what, Jeremy called Luka from Tokyo.
Wow.
When he was picked. Now, what does that tell you about this team that Troy's put together? This is a lot of brilliance going on here. That's behind the scenes of what they're putting together. I don't want to miss anybody else out on the team. The other core, and then you got Lee. Talk about a great family. Great. Tradition of pedigree of winning and working hard. So I tell you what, there's something special going to be happening in Detroit, and it's happening now. And it's. Something happens that's intangible when you bring all these characters of integrity and strong character together. It's a reflection. It becomes one heart. One being, and I think they're down the road on going to surprise a lot of people because I believe it's the intangibles that wins over time every time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Alex, Evan, but Frank's got me ready to run through a brick wall right now with that answer right there. That was
fired up.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
All right, guys. Super.
But in all seriousness, we really appreciate the time. I feel like we could talk to you forever, but we won't keep you too long here. Evan, did you have any last things or anything? Or because
I would ask just one final question, Frank. I would say, Can you give us a prediction, overall team prediction, going into next year for the Pistons?
In terms of where they're going to end up?
Sure.
Let me let Luka get through training camp, and I'll give you a better answer. You know what I mean? It's like we got two-way. Now the real work begins. It's training camp, right? Then the vets show up, and then the this, and so that all we got to see where it is. But right now, I like I said, I feel this team's going to do some stuff that, look at what Milwaukee did years ago. There's only one lottery pick on that team, right? And that was Lopez, right?
Yeah.
And so you go, well, what did they go for? Well, they went for a character. They went for intangibles. They went for desire. Guys that wanted to get better and win, period. I don't care if you have to put me through the G League. I'd play me anywhere. I'm going to win. I don't care what. And so I'm telling you, there's going to be, that's powerful, powerful ingredients, for making history. The one thing I would say, if I could, gentlemen, is that I just wanted to thank all the Detroit fans and folks for just, again, got all those DMs about stuff. Hey, they made a decision, but yet they still kept an open eye, an eye of discovery. Said, well, let's give them a shot. And those petrified beliefs have softened. And so I'm so grateful that they too can see what Luka's about, which he leads with his heart. He's getting so fired up out there on the court. Well, that's how we play, man. We're Italian, Spanish, Yugoslavian, man. We're a 1/957 of emotion, and inspiration. And so we're going to play, and you're going to know it. You're going to know I'm in the stands. You're going to know Luka's playing. And so it's just like that's who we are. And so I just want to thank, Detroit for accepting that. Now we still have to prove a lot. It's earned, not given. It's been our whole story. We're going to do that. But thank you for being willing to soften some of those beliefs and give him the chance to show what he did at Iowa, which was coming in 118th in the country and being number 1 2 years in a row. He beat his own scoring record when teams had a year to prepare. And I'm still pissed off at Martinelli. You're saying Joe's coach, because he had a whole year to get ready for Luka, and he did the best job of any coach, including Izzo, on how to play Luka. And that's a compliment to Howard, Coach Howard, and what he did there, bringing him in. What a beautiful man, And so I'm still upset at him for doing that to my son on that game. Again, very grateful to Detroit for giving us a shot. That's all we want, is a shot. And then everything else is on us. We're going to earn it. He's going to earn it every step of the way. And that's how we want it. That's fair.
Yeah, and I feel comfortable even at this point on behalf of Detroit Pistons fans, thanking you and Luka as well, just for bringing a fresh energy. You guys were a big part of making the Summer League pretty exciting. And I feel for many Pistons fans that with the two-way contract, those days that Luka is up with the big squad, that'll be appointment television for us. It might even draw some interest with the Motor City Cruise, who will be, a new team. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome.
All right. Well, that will wrap it up for us here today.
Super.
If you want to continue to kind of follow along, obviously Luka and Frank have their respective Twitters. Frank, yours is at Frank Garza 57. So you can kind of follow along, see more of those workout videos, the daily kind of motivation that you bring there.
Super. Well, I don't know if I should keep posting them. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. Maybe it's people are tired of them. So anyway, I'm still trying. I'm in the duality about whether or not I keep doing them or if what do you guys think?
I say you mix them in here and there. Maybe
Okay.
if you want to cut down the quantity of them, maybe once a week, or just. I think the Pistons fans need reminders that Luka's out there getting work in.
I agree.
Yeah,
We like
fair
it.
enough.
They're
I would watch
a little motivational too.
Yes.
It makes me want to get out there and do something.
Super. Well, I appreciate that, gentlemen. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you. Anyways, Alex's Rumor Mill segment of the week, presented by Codes Apparel. The city of the week for this is Kingsley, Michigan.
Why?
Stand up.
Why? Because that's where we are going camping this weekend. I'm excited about it.
You're not going to like.
You don't get the address because
Usually, you talk about Oh, we guessed first?
Yeah,
First
yeah.
in the game? Oh, Ivan, I'll let you get
What's the area code, boys?
Either starts with the 2 or starts with the 7.
2.
2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 3. 2, 3, 1.
Yes. 2, 3, 1.
All right.
I hope so, because Traverse City's 2, 3, 1, so I'm just banking on that the border doesn't stop there. But we're going to go with that as being correct. Why is that relevant? Because that's what Codes Apparel does. They do Michigan area code themed apparel, which is kind of hot in the streets these days. Speaking of college football, Michigan football's helmet stickers on the back of their helmets this year feature the hometown kids like area code, and that they said that was one of their favorite helmet stickers this year. So
Stole that.
if you'd like to partake on the train, and also Detroit Pistons lean into 313. If you'd like to partake in that, CODESAPPAREL.com is where you can find that. You can also find Shout Out Michigan sports merch there as well from the show. One of our good listener friends, Ben, purchased himself a shirt, and the logo was Fuego, as the kids say. Turned out really nice. So that, and also any area code themed gear, t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, etc. at that website, Codes Apparel. And now for Alex's rumor mill segment of the week.
Rumor this week is one rumor and a bonus, and it's all Michigan State related. So, Grant, if you don't care,
No, I care. I have to. It's Michigan State is 2/8 of this podcast, basketball and football. So
first rumor is not good for Michigan State, depending on how you view it. Amani Bates, who released his top 4, included Michigan State, and what I've heard is that was real interest from Amani and Michigan State. However, Michigan State decided it is not in their best interest to continue pursuing him, and Amani will be going to Memphis and teaming up with Jalen Durant. So for Michigan fans, watch out for Memphis, I guess.
Well, and you guys, right? Aren't you guys contenders?
We don't have to worry about any team. We worry about ourselves.
Same.
And
I'm worried about UCLA. I'll say it.
so no Amani Bates. Part 2.
I also love how you spun on that and be like, Michigan State didn't want him anymore.
That's actually what I read.
I know. I wonder what Amani Bates' camp would say. I like it. It's smart spin zone.
And the other rumor was dropped by Rico Beard that Michigan State's going to get some all-black uniforms. And I think it's a long overdue.
Curious to see how they turn out.
People have been asking for a long time.
Oh, I agree. It's cool, but black is definitely not one of Michigan State's primary or really even secondary colors. So I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Now, with this, I wanted to ask Evan, if you were to design a black Michigan State uniform, Evan, what would it look like?
Black, green numbers.
What color
logo
green?
on the
Not
helmet.
the neon, I assume.
No, non-neon. It's not the basketball uniforms, because if there's anywhere black and neon, I'm out. I'm jumping ship. I don't want neon on the football team. Basketball, it's cool.
It wasn't. It already
football
was,
team,
though.
no.
Those weren't black.
No, but you guys did wear neon already once for football.
Yes, that's
big
why.
states.
That's why I asked if it was the neon green or the regular green.
I got it.
All black, numbers green, either outlined in white or something like that stands out, something
Silver.
shiny, like a silver or like a metallic color that stands
Gotta
out.
be white.
Like Oregon.
I'll stop you there.
Helmets, black face mask, obviously, and then like a big. I want the logo like big on the helmet, so just the regular Spartan logo, but I want it big, green, outline the same as the numbers.
Yep. Gotta be like a matte black.
Or maybe you find like a retro logo somewhere just to stick that on there on the helmet. Not the Gruff Sparty, no, not that. It doesn't match well with black.
That wouldn't fit. Yeah.
I'm thinking something like like retro, modernized, something like that.
I was thinking Michigan State just copies Ohio State's all black uniforms and just puts green and then throws the logo on the helmets. Those are sweet. That's my thought.
Yeah.
The helmets have to be matte black. That's my only contribution.
I thought we just assumed that it was matte.
No,
Yeah.
just shiny black,
I had that in my head.
I had matte black. Yeah.
like a TCU shiny black. I don't like that, so I hope they go matte if they do. And well done by Alex. Good bit of podcasting there. It teased us right into the final segment, and we're not going to spend
Shout out me.
a long time here because it's actually crazy. College football starts next week. Nebraska, Illinois kicked this puppy off, which is puke in your mouth football. But
That game was supposed to be in Ireland.
yep,
Have I
they
mentioned
play
that?
Saturday. They play in week 0 is what the college football calls it.
What day do they kick off?
Next Saturday, the 28th.
Really?
Yep, they play the 28th. August 28th, yes, Evan. I don't, that may have came to a surprise you. Next weekend.
That's awesome.
That's great.
I love football.
For our teams, we don't play till the next weekend because we're the big boys. We're not Nebraska, Illinois. So that's why we're going to do a big cursory overview of Michigan State here, and then get into more of a nitty-gritty kind of like next week.
With a guest.
Yeah, potentially. We don't want to bank on guests, but potentially.
There's a strong chance.
We're actually going to have a roundtable discussion in the Zoom with Jim Harbaugh above us and Mel Tucker at the bottom, and they're just going to kind of go at it, and we're going to facilitate it.
Ryan Day might pop in too.
Where do you guys want to start? What team? Do you have a preference?
Sure.
Or do you just want to talk about both and we can kind of intermingle them? Because there's some similarities and there's some differences.
Let's talk
There are a lot
about
of similarities.
both.
Both had bad seasons last year, objectively,
Yep.
right? I think the biggest difference, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, is just kind of the viewpoints in where each program's at. Obviously, Michigan State got a new coach and would put themselves in the building something category, whereas Michigan has been going into year 7 of Coach Harbaugh and
Restoring something.
trying to restore. I think the best way I've seen this year of Michigan football is it's either like a revival or Harbaugh's last stand. I don't really see the middle ground of where it's not one of those two. I guess there is a place for that, which is kind of like
8-4 and beating Ohio State.
It's more the nitty gritty show is like what keeps Harbaugh's job. I really don't know. It's something I have to think long and hard about. I think it's more of just like, do you see improvement? But at the same time, Michigan State made all those coaching changes last year, whereas Michigan changed everyone except for Jim Harbaugh. So both schools have new faces in place, relatively new speaking for college football. So they're still working on that. But I guess it's fair to say Michigan has more pressure on them going into this year, I would say, at least from the fan base. I think that's undisputedly accurate because you guys aren't going to be down Mel Tucker's throat if it's like a 500 season.
6-6 is a win, I think, for most fans. I personally would like better, but a bowl game.
What are you saying about most fans? They have low expectations.
Yeah, some do. But I think overall 6-6 is probably the general. They'd be good with it. And then maybe win that bowl game 7-6 would be nice for most fans. Michigan, on the other hand, I assume that it's, Big Ten East or bust. Should be that way. Crowds talked about.
I don't get that vibe going into this year.
I don't either.
I don't think I think the Michigan fan base is tired, is exhausted going into year 7. And I don't think, credit to us for finally learning, I guess, expectations wise, I don't think it's a Big East or bust mentality. Like, obviously you want to win that and you can kind of say every year it should be that. But I don't know. I mean, no.
So what do you think would be good for the year? What do you want Michigan to do? What do you think the fans want? What do you think the fans expect?
I think the fans expect this year to beat Michigan State. I think if Michigan loses to Michigan State, I think it's you could fire Harbaugh after that game.
You think Michigan State's worse?
Yes. Objectively speaking, talent on the roster, I think Michigan is a better football team going in this year than Michigan State. And I think, with that being said, if they lose that game, again, back-to-back years, it's fireable offense. It is.
No, I agree.
I'm not laughing at that.
I'm laughing at you think there's, the talent gap and all that, but I'm not going to get into that on this week's episode.
Fair. And
Evan doesn't.
And it'll play out over the season.
We'll
see. But I'm saying that's the viewpoint.
I want to say things.
I also think Michigan is as good, if not better, like talent-wise and setup should be as Penn State this year. Will they beat them? I don't know. I think they would have probably beat them last year if Cade didn't get hurt in the first.
Penn State's not that good anyways.
Right.
Penn State's vast.
So maybe it's more of a chop on Penn State, I guess. Yes, fair. Because they still have Clifford, and I've never been impressed by Clifford like once in my life. And Michigan should have beat them last year if it wasn't for Cade getting hurt in the first quarter. So I don't view them that different. I guess if I'm trying to look at the Big Ten East as a whole, I put Indiana in a tier above us because of their phenomenal quarterback play. Now they're going to lose some pieces, but I'm not going into, like in the past, I'd always been, Indiana's going to play as tough. We're going to win. After last year and knowing what they were coming back with. I don't see it that way. I would say we would obviously not going to be favored against Indiana. And then Ohio State, I'm not expecting to win. I will say, though, might be crazy, call me crazy, it's their best chance in the last 2 years to beat Ohio State for sure, because they're not going to have Justin Fields at quarterback. So,
well, whoever the quarterback is will have 11 weeks under their belt by the time they get to Michigan. So they're probably going to be pretty solid.
Yeah, and then I guess you'd have to say the same argument about Michigan. Hopefully they figured out their quarterback situation. That's a common denominator to work Michigan State back in, quarterback situation. I think that you could almost start and stop the conversation for the year with how, in any college football year, is how good is your quarterback going to be? And we both really don't, both schools do not know, because we don't 100% know like who's going to be the main guy for the full season.
I can safely say on the Michigan State side that this year, whoever it is, it will be an improvement from last year. It can't really be.
You're going to go and do Rocky Lombardi like that on this podcast.
Unfortunately, he got 2 big wins. He had 2 games. He'll go down in Spartan history for what he did against Michigan.
And Northwestern.
Not as important, but.
Well, it was a bigger win. I mean, kind of.
Technically, yes, better. But to the fan base.
Northwestern was better than us last year.
They're going to remember the Michigan game. But yeah, I mean, he was, turnover every 4 plays. You can't do winning football like that.
That Iowa game, holy crap.
I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to be mean to Rocky. I appreciate what he did for Michigan State.
That's how I felt during the Indiana game. Similar vibes.
But I think no matter what, Michigan State's quarterback room will be improved, and I think Michigan's quarterback room will be improved too.
I agree with both those statements.
Because Joe Milton was similarly bad.
I also hate that kid too. I'm going to throw out a hate.
I don't.
He had a press conference in Tennessee that really pissed me off.
He did
really
say that he didn't know who Antoine Simmons was.
That also really made me mad. That really made me mad.
Pretty bad. Yeah. No, I'm not
I can't believe I tried to defend that guy ever. He's just not a nice guy.
Evan, you haven't talked to him in a while.
He's soaking it all in.
No, it's kind of hard to jump in when you guys are going after each other. I don't want to rush.
Smart.
I would say, this is actually, one of the first years I just don't feel like the Michigan media is, expecting them to win the Big Ten East, where they're actually kind of, realizing where they actually belong, and it's, middle of the pack where, everyone else is, and where you have to, fight and upset somebody when you're not supposed to deserve that spot to play for, a chance to go to the Big Ten championship. Which it could be beneficial for them. I thought I saw today Cade McNamara was named the starting quarterback for week 1 today. Don't quote me on it, but it was blowing up my Twitter.
It probably was just a re-emphasis. He has been since the end of winter camp.
Extremely safe bet that he's the starter.
Which is, again, brand new. They never have done that in the past.
And then I feel like he's getting more likely based off of from the interviews I've seen from Jim Harbaugh, and then where Michigan State, Mel Tucker's been more hush-hush about it, but it's a 2-quarterback race. And I always go back to Thorne played well against Penn State. That was his one-time show out. But I always say you don't bring in a 5th-year grad student, and he doesn't start. I just think Russo's going to take it, and like you said, the starting quarterback will take you as far as the team takes you. So overall, I think these teams are kind of comparable, where they stand, getting their feet underneath them, coaching staff, new players, new foundation, new philosophy. And then you're going to have a couple tough non-conference games. We play Miami, you guys play Washington. Just really see where the team stands going into Big Ten play. And then I don't know what Michigan's schedule looks like for crossover. Michigan State's a little bit easier. And so I'm happy with 7-5, 6-6.
It's the same.
Get me to a playoff game. Just get me to a bowl game. Excuse me.
All right. Do they still have the B-Dubs Bowl?
No.
It's tough. And we can all agree on we have to play Miami and Washingtons of the world because Notre Dame's so scared of both of our schools they won't play us anymore. So chop those losers.
The last time we played them, they spanked us. But Notre Dame spanked us the last time we played them.
It was about 14 or 17.
I remember Brian Lewerke had a 60-yard touchdown run, but that was it.
I'm going to watch that after this. I just want to see that guy run 60
yards.
yards.
Fox, primetime on Fox.
Oh, it was a night game. It was a Michigan played Purdue that day. It was the hottest day of my life. Well, I remember.
Yeah, it was miserable to tailgate. Yeah.
The big picture segment is kind of tough because I really just want to drop a bomb, of like lofty projections, but I do kind of want to tease the audience and say that for next week when we're really in the weeds with it and I do more research. But I guess I'm going to close what I wanted to get out of this segment is that, as I've said before in like college basketball, when we're talking about the tournament or the Big Ten championship, desperation is something in sports, specifically college sports, that you cannot fake. And when someone's desperate, usually good results happen from that. I'm going to leave it at that.
Or extremely negative results happen. I think it's one or the other.
I disagree. I think it even applies to the NFL. When a team starts off the season 1-3 as a scrappy underdog, look for them to have the performance of their life against the favorite.
My closing thoughts, just to get the people riled up. I think the better coach, better motivator, guy you want leading your team is in East Lansing and not in Ann Arbor. I think it's pretty obvious. And our guys coached
did you see Jim
7 games.
See Jim push that sled, though? Speaking of appearance, Jim is looked the best he has in 4 years. Again, makes me feel a little bit better.
I said what I said.
Shout out to Coach Harbaugh for getting in shape.
Good for you, Jim.
Closing statements. College football is basically back, and this saga of who's better, Michigan State, is going to go on for a while, and it's going to only help us as a podcast.
Us personally.
Stay tuned for more content.
I cannot wait till the week of that game. We've never had one as a podcast. It's probably going to be awesome.
Halloween weekend.
I'm just hoping both teams are pretty solid at that point. No big injuries.
I will not. Oh yeah, of course, no injuries.
Just want everyone to be fully healthy, so you don't have any excuses after the game.
Same to you.
Fair.
I'll go on that. I hope both teams are good. I hope it's like a big time game.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to?
I'll take that. Game? I won't go to the extreme where I hope there's a dumpster fire in East Lansing. I'm not that kind of guy. I hope it's a great game. I want to see everyone's best.
Our potential guest next week, he is that guy. Teaser.
You wrote his name.
Congrats to the U.S. Amateur Champion.
How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Piat.
James.
Yeah.
Piat.
Like the Fiat.
James Piat.
Evan, the pronunciation
I thought it was
guy.
Piat, but I could be wrong.
Well, I don't think you'll care.
Did you just watch the match? I watched all of it.
I didn't have the volume on.
Sweet putter. That last putt to save the par to force the kid to make the birdie, was it nails? That's basically what I remember. It was great.
First player ever from the state of Michigan.
And when those get released of polos, you guys will be matching one college football day in the fall, I assume. You guys will both
all
be
of
wearing
them,
those.
because I won't ever take it off.
Okay. It was a sweet polo, though.
Yeah.
But yes, congrats where it's due. We will close out this show with the plug for our social accounts at ShoutOutMS on everything except for TikTok. That's fully spelled out Shout Out Michigan Sports. The Gmail is shoutoutmichigansports@gmail.com. Socials are the best place. Ooh, spooky. Social are best for video clips, where to interact with us with comments or any DMs. Emails are best for any business questions or advertisements. How to listen to this: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, depending on where you're listening. Please rate the podcast 5 stars. Review the podcast kindly. Evan, look at Evan. I just look up and Evan's got emojis going on. Leave reviews, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Download it, share the link with a friend. Really helps, because that's the best way to grow this thing is by word of mouth. Sharing it with a friend, because they'll take it more than a retweet or something. And then again, submit any questions or topics you want discussed on any of those platforms, because then it makes the show more interactive and it's better for everyone else. With all that being said, cheers to the end of episode 34, and specifically to the fact that we drafted Cade Cunningham over Jalen Green from me.
Cheers to Drew's review. It's a good review on Apple.
Do the same as him.
Cheers to Michigan State being a golf school.
Golf school.